What's happening, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Dope Channel. We got another hot boy video coming at you today because Donnie's here. Flew in from Utah. Hot boy video because we got the two-step. Ooh. I'm gonna walk you through what I've done so far, which is really nothing. I mean, this part of the install to it is so self-explanatory. I mounted the box with some tech screws to this plastic. It's not heavy and it's not going nowhere. Wire it so that way this wire, the blue, solid blue goes, and they give you this extra wire with the connector. The solid blue goes to ground if you want to activate it, and the white and blue will go to power if you want to activate it with a power. It depends on how your car is set up and how you're using it. If you're using a clutch pedal versus a brake switch or a button or whatever you're doing to activate it. So I just ran it over to the battery to check it and make sure it works, and it's badass. You guys will see that. You probably already saw it actually. Now, the wiring harness that comes out of the thing, it's all one piece. So there's the big bulk harness. I just zip tied it up to this other harness, and then you got, it doesn't matter which wires go to which coils. So there's short ones and long ones. So the long ones are in the front, and the short ones in the back. And you just unplug the coil with this. This would be the factory truck connector. Then this one is the connector from the MSD, and that's the other side of the one from the MSD. And then I zip tied it up to this harness just so it's not flopping all over. But it's on both sides. And then just kind of zip tied it up. The only thing that I don't like about this is it's hard to make it look neat because there's so much extra wire and shit. But it's not too bad. But it runs up here, zip tied to this, runs across, and then there's two, it splits there. And you can run it down to the other side, and then it runs up to the box. And then you pick if you want power or ground to activate it. So what I'm thinking is, I want to try and see if I can use the cruise control buttons. Hold on, sorry. If I can use the cruise control buttons to activate it. So I don't know. I don't want to really use the power because when you hit the power button, it stays activated all the time, like with the cruise control. But you can use the set or reset or the cancel because it's a momentary. This isn't a momentary. So I'm gonna pull the bottom of the column off the plastic, or I'm gonna go over here into the fuse box or something. And I'm going to see if I can find where these wires come through. I don't have a wiring diagram. I'm going to see if I can figure out where they come through. I think the easiest spot's going to be go to the column and go to the back of the clock spring and try to find it there. Now, if I can't find it, I do have this. It is a nitrous button deal. And this switch in the middle, the purge, is a momentary. So I could always, and this is designed to fit in here. You take that little rubber deal out, and it'll fit in there. And I can use that switch to activate it, but I don't really want to use the nitrous button at all. I kind of want to save that for if I ever put nitrous on the truck. And then I want to try and use that. Then the one last option I had was to maybe try the up and down shift buttons. Either way, if I do the cruise control buttons or if I do the up and down, the tap up, tap down buttons on the shifter, I'm going to put a toggle switch in it. So that way I can have the ground or the power coming from the buttons going through a toggle switch. If it's on, it'll go through a toggle switch and then go to the MSD box. And if I have the switch off, if I hit one of these buttons, I won't be going down the highway, and when I go to like set the cruise or shift, if I don't want to use it, it won't activate the two-step going 70 miles an hour. So I'm going to see if I can find those, because I think that'll be the easiest to use when you're at the drag strip or trying to race somebody, is having your hand on the steering wheel and having a button right there. I think that would be the easiest way to do it, or to use it. Now, to wire it, I'm not sure if that will be. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the truck and I'm going to try and find the wiring, and then I will, if I can't, I will pick up, no matter what, I'm going to pick up wherever I decide to go and show you guys how to wire it. I'm going to show you. I just got the wire in through the door so I can make sure that it worked. This switch right here that has this blue wire, this connector, I'm sorry, that has that blue wire going into it. That white wire is the power for the tow haul button here. That is for that. I tried to use the up, tap down, but there's no power on the white wire for the tap up and tap down, unless, I'm guessing, unless like the truck is moving or something, because in manual mode sitting here in the garage, I clicked a button and there's no power to that wire. And if you try to hook it to the other side, it's fully grounded all the time. And so I unplugged this connector and checked these switches here, the up and down, and what I found was that I'm guessing that it's not like on-off switch because it doesn't fully ground. So you have, when you get power going into that white wire, whenever that ends up getting power, or if it ever does, I would assume it would have to some point. I guess it only does it when the truck is moving or whatever. The resistance goes from like when it's not clicked, it's totally open, and then when you click it, it goes to like 3 ohms, and then it goes to 6 ohms for up, and then whatever else, depending on which way you hit the button. So the computer, it's not just going off open and closed on a switch, it's going off of a resistance value to know which way, because it's only 2 wires. So it doesn't have, if it would have to have, I guess, 3 wires in order, it'd have to have 2 powers, or 1 power and 2 grounds in order for it to know if you clicked it up or down. So if you click it down, and if you click it up and down, and it only goes open and closed, the computer wouldn't know if you wanted to go up or down. So it uses 3 ohms or whatever it was for down, and 6 ohms or whatever it was for up. So it knows which way you click the button. So that button's not going to work. I'm going to use the tow haul button, and also the cruise control switches work the same way the tap up and tap down buttons work. They've got a power to them, but it only changes resistance. When you click a certain button, it'll read 5 ohms. When you click another button, it'll read 7. And when you click one, it'll read 10. And then one will read 4 or whatever. So that way the computer knows which button you pressed. And that keeps it from having 4 separate wires going to the switch. It only has 1 and then a ground, or maybe 2 and a ground, or reference and a ground and a voltage. I'm not sure exactly what's behind the airbag here. And it just knows by when you press the button, the resistance value, which button you pressed. So those aren't going to work either. But the tow haul button is just a straight on off switch. So that will work. And I'm just going to pin it into the white wire that's on the left. There's 2 blacks and 2 grounds. The one on the right is going to be for the tap up, tap down. And the 2 wires on the left, which is a black and a ground on the bottom. Black and a white on the left side. That's one's for the tow haul button. Here, and show you this on the computer. In order to click the truck in, like if you're on the line or whatever, and you don't want to have to make sure that when you click out of it, it's going to go out of tow haul or go into tow haul. I don't want it to shift differently. So basically, I will show you how I set it up on HP tuners. It's super, super easy, but I'm going to get on the screen recording real quick and show you how that works. This is the tune for the truck. I already did it, but I can show you. So you just have to go to trans, and then you will click. This will normally be on trailer. Pattern A is normal, which is what it's normally drives in, because this truck doesn't have, performance mode. And look at all these modes. Like you have cruise, winter, warm up. You can make your own patterns and have an eco mode. It's all for different vehicles. So what I did is, since pattern A is normal and this was normally on trailer, I would put this to normal. So no matter if the truck is in tow haul or not, it's going to shift on the same shift pattern all the time. All right. I got it wired up. I'm not a huge fan of these style connectors where it just kind of pierces in and then you screw the wire into the other side. So the top, I pierced it into the white, and then the back, the blue wire is pushed into the bottom, and it has a little nut thing, almost like a compression fitting, but not really, to hold the wire in. Not a huge fan of those, but this isn't going to cause the truck to not run if it comes apart, and it's on the inside of the truck, so it's not going to get wet or anything because it's not a sealed connector. But I would think that it'll be fine, and it's up here in the dash, and when you move the tilt wheel, it doesn't really move that much. So, and I always keep the wheel in kind of the same place. I think it'll be okay. I mean, if it comes apart, I'll do something different. I'll cut it and I'll put a butt connector with 2 wires going in one side, I guess. But that's the little thing they gave me, and that's what I'm going to use because it's here. And I guess we need to start the truck and make sure that the light comes on when I hit the tow haul button. So let's do that. Loud. So right now the light is off, the little red light right there. I'll set you guys up. I'm gonna go and push the tow haul button. Watch right there, there's a little red light. It gets activated, the light. So as you can see, when you hit the tow haul button, which is what I was doing, that light comes on, the 2-step's activated, but it's not to the RPM limit yet for the activation. I'm going to put the dash back together, the little trim piece on the bottom, and I'm going to flash the tune in with the change to the transmission. And it's not raining yet, but it's supposed to start raining later. And we'll go for a little drive, warm it up, and we'll do a little hit. And it's only set to 2,000 right now. I'm going to turn it up until it's reached the torque converter like stall point where I can put it all the way to the floor and it's on the 2-step without it trying to spin the tires. So I'm gonna play with it some, and we'll have to go through and do some adjustments. I'm gonna carry this pocket screwdriver with me so I can change it. Unfortunately, it started to sprinkle a little and it's really foggy out, so I don't know how well this is gonna work, but we're still gonna try it. We're gonna get a little clip of inside action. Drive for a few minutes until it warms up, and then we'll hit it a couple of times with the 2-step. And also, I was being retarded. I didn't think I would need my freaking suction cup. Duh. So it's gonna be hard for me to hold the camera and try to do it. I know for sure it's gonna be raining tonight. If it wasn't going to be, I would just wait till tonight. But I wanna get it in the video for you guys. Let's see if we can get a quick one off here. Just real quick. All right, buttons in. I fucked up. I messed up and I didn't let go of the button. I just let go of the brake. But as you can see, it works. So it's gonna take me some practice to be able to get used to letting off of the gas or letting off of the brake and the button at the same time. But it definitely needs more than 2,000 RPM. I just knew that would be a good starting point and I can take it up from there. But it just immediately spun the shit out of the tires, which I knew that it would do also. I'm gonna just do it in front of my house because I do burnouts in front of my house all the time. I just didn't want to do multiples. So I'm gonna do another 2,000 RPM launch, and then there's a clip that was in the beginning of the video. I'll put that in the end. I'm going to do another little 2,000 RPM launch right here in front of the house. Turn the traction control button off. It's pretty much useless to try and even get it tuned in today because, for one, it's raining and it's going to change based on if you're at a drag strip or if you're at a track and if it's got slicks on it or what. But let me see if I get a good camera angle on this one. Button. See, it worked, but it immediately just spins the tires, like not even trying. Like, you just hit the button, put it to the floor, hold the brake so it doesn't roll away, and then you got to let off the brake, the button at the same time. And with the roads being a little wet today, it's almost useless. Like, I can spin the tires just jumping on it a little. Like there, it spun the tires. It doesn't take much, and I live on the road is blacktop or asphalt, so it's even slicker. I think that's gonna be the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, it sucks that it's kind of rainy today, and it's supposed to rain tonight and all tomorrow, so I'm not gonna have a chance to get any good like launches out of it or anything. So that is what it is. You guys saw the install. I did put under the hood where the blue wire comes out of the box. I did have some of that convolute like split plastic casing stuff, and I put it on that, and then it comes through a grommet and a firewall, the same one that my wideband gauge goes through. And then it runs up to that wire I showed you guys, zip tied along the harness. Pretty easy install, honestly. Like, if I just worked on it, it would have probably taken me a total of like 15 minutes to do the whole entire thing. It's cool. I like it. Like I said, guys, thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Have a good one.